Yes.
You can see my screen, right? So we have created a service and we are able to, access it. So we discussed about creating some temporary pods, right? You got that clear, right, Divya?
Yes, yes.
Oh, so see, actually, like you can run multiple pods. So here I'm actually trying to run a test pod. And I'm actually, just a drop into the shell. That's what I'm telling here, right? SSH shell. Why I'm dropping to shell? Because I want to run some command. I want to run a curl command or a wget command here to check something. That's why I say run the pod and just drop into the shell. This is just a test pod, and I'm trying to access the service and I'm able to access it. Okay. So like this, you can actually run, Ubuntu, Fedora. BusyBox is just an example, right? So it has many tools to make use of. That's why I just ran. So, okay, fine. So let's go to the next part. I think we covered service quite extensively. So I think this part I covered, right? So one is external name, which is for, making use of the external service. And you can also, create a service, something like this. Like you don't have to really create a YAML file. You say that I want to expose my deployment with this name. And then I say, make use of the service type as load balancer with the specific port. So like this also, you can actually create a service. Just remember that. Let's go to the storage part. So like in Docker, Kubernetes support storage. I think I missed one slide. Okay, so I'll just tell this. See, actually, Kubernetes itself provides DNS, right? So we have just now seen like a service access to like something like this, right? So my service, default, SVC, like this, we can actually access the service. So for providing such service, DNS has an internal service. Like internally, it runs a service called core DNS. So we can just check this here. Okay, get pods. I'm going to check the pods in Kube system. You can see it here, core DNS. So this is the DNS service which is running inside the Kubernetes for accessing my service like this, right? So I want to access my service with this name, right? So for this kind of service is provided by this core DNS. Okay, so let's go back to the storage again. Like, see, as I told you, there are like, many terms you will be keep hearing. So once you start practicing these things, then you will actually get better understanding. You need to really practice. That's what I will be keep telling you. So there are three things mainly in storage. Only storage class, persistent volume client. Let's see one by one. What is a storage class? Storage class describes how to dynamically provision the storage. How storage can be provided by different means. It can be directly coming from your system. It can be something provided by AWS. It can be something provided by Google Cloud. Something externally provided. Also, you can actually make use of. So, how this storage is going to be provided? Who is going to provide that? That definition will be there in the storage class. It is actually going to abstract the underlying storage. So we don't know what it is, how it is, like everything is hidden from you. You just make use of a specific storage class, then you will make use of that specific storage. So once you see an example, you'll get it better. Just, remember these names. There is something called storage class. Okay. Persistent volume. A persistent volume is nothing but a piece of storage in the cluster. It is created either manually or automatically. Like, see, so persistent volume is cluster-wide resource, right? So it is not tied to any namespace. As I told you, you first create a namespace, you create a project there, you create a applications there, right? So normally that's how you do. In case of storage class and persistent volume, these two things are available throughout the cluster. It is a common resource. Anyone can make use of any storage class. Like you created a namespace, project one, from the project one, you want to make use of a storage class, which is common to all in the cluster. Similarly, you want to make use of a persistent volume, which is available all through the cluster in a specific project. Now, whenever you create a pod, inside the pod, you want to access the storage. That time, you will make use of something called persistent volume client, PVC. So this is a storage request by a pod. I need this much GBs of storage. Like that, the pod will be specified. The pod will specify that I need this much of storage. So that comes under persistent volume client. So we have seen three things. One is storage class, persistent volume client. So that's how it works. If you see an example, you'll get it will be better. Just go through this. Like, okay, so this is a storage class. So the kind is storage class. It has given a name called local storage. So there is no provisioner. This is a local storage, so there is no provisioner as such. So under the volume binding mode is you wait till the pod go and access the storage before actually creating the storage is what this word means. So we just create the storage class here. Let's see first any storage class already there. Okay, so there is a standard one, which is actually a different one, which is okay. This is a standard one, which is created automatically when we create the provision the cluster. Now I'm going to create a new one. So okay, so new storage class with the name local storage is created. Okay, so and it is actually waiting for the first consumer before doing the volume creation. We'll see how this works later. When I show the examples, you'll understand it better. So and then we have the persistent volume. The kind is persistent volume. It is given a name called my PV. PV is for persistent volume. I mean, you can give any name you want just to identify this. The access mode is read write once, so you cannot actually read write many. So there are different types of access mode. I will cover it later. So and then I'm actually going to make use of the hotspot called MNT data. So this is very important actually. So this path, which is there in the mini cube, is going to be accessed by the actual storage provisioned, accessed by the pod. See, at the end of the day, what we are trying to do, we are actually going to create a pod, and from the pod, we need some storage. Okay. So whenever you access the storage, in this case, it is actually going to access the local server storage, whatever the directory that I have mentioned here. Here I have mentioned MNT data. This path will be accessed for storing the data. So, and then we have something called PVC. So this is called a PVC persistent volume client. So I say make use of the storage class called the local storage. So whenever you want to provision the storage, you make use of this specific storage. I don't want any other storage class to be used. And then I'm saying I want at least 1 GB of storage. So I just create the persistent volume. I created it. Persistent volume claim also created. Let's check what and all created. We have storage class created, PV created, PVC created. But you can see the PVC is created, but it is pending, right? So it is actually, pending for access by someone. Once you make use of it, it will immediately, like that's what I mentioned here. When I create the storage class, I'm telling like wait for the first consumer, right? So someone should actually consume it to be created. Otherwise, you wait. Like that, actually, we put. So let us consume it to see whether it is actually getting deployed. So I have a simple deployment here. Okay. So I'm actually making use of storage. What is the storage name? It is called HTML storage. The path is here. User share Nginx HTML. This is the path where this storage will be used, and this is mapped like this, right? So I'm giving the volume name as HTML storage. Okay, and this name is linked with my PVC. You remember when I created the PVC, I gave this name called my PVC, right? So the persistent volume claim you created is accessed using this volume. Clear? So I will again repeat.
Why is the status like saying pending?
Yeah, so I need to create this deployment. Once I create it, it will start making stuff. So I just repeat it because there are just too many terms. One is storage class. Storage class is what type of storage it is, like who is providing that storage. That is mentioned in the storage class. In my case, in this case, we are actually making use of the local storage. It can be something like Amazon EBS, storage as well. Some Amazon block storage, or Amazon file storage, whatever it is like. So you need to actually change the provisioner name in the provisioner name is here, right? The provisioner name you need to change to decide what type of storage class it is. Okay, it's the first point.
So local means like your system, right?
Yes, my system.
If I'm using S3, then the provisioner will be something like AWS.
Correct. I have a couple of examples as well. Say, for example, you want to access AWS means you have to mention something like this. Kubernetes.io/AWS EBS. Okay. So for making use of Google Cloud Disk, you need to make use of this GCE PD. So what's happening is these companies, AWS, Google, all of them contribute to Kubernetes, right? So